Okay, Sheila, so you're an expert now. Tell us about your journey from Vancouver to Dubai. And Sheila, thank you so much. I guess I'll start out by saying thank you for being on the Real Expat podcast. You and I connected because you previously attended a TikTok live session and you mentioned you had been following the TikTok account for a while. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey from Vancouver to Dubai?
Absolutely. I've lived in Canada my whole life. I've lived on the East Coast, I've lived in the middle, and I came from the West Coast. Lots of adventures there over the years. I've been an entrepreneur. I worked corporately for international companies. The last 4 years, I have worked for a Dubai based company, and I had the challenges of the fact that's a 12-hour time zone difference. It was killer. But I made it, and eventually my work primarily was concentrated in North America. So that worked out just fine. But the 4 years of COVID really set me back. And I'm saying 4 years because honestly, it's taken me that long. I know COVID ended earlier than that, but it took me that long to recover, maybe even the last year to recover from a lot of things that had happened. So, first of all, I had opened a business in January of 2020. I had to close that business on March 7th, 2020. And I decided not just to close it. I knew when they said that 2 week shutdown, it wasn't happening. And I closed the whole business. And that was heartbreaking. And I wasn't really sure whether I was going to open it again. But I had worked the entire previous year on opening this business. And I also had business partners. I lost a lot of money and a lot of energy and effort had gone into that. And that I actually held that loss. And what it did for me was it really took a blow to my self-esteem. And between being alone, working from home for several years, not having solid relationships with my colleagues and having the positive feedback and interactions and no growth in what I was doing was really limiting me. And it was okay. It was good enough, but it wasn't great. I was not thriving. I was satisfied, happy, trying to work through what I was going to do next. And it just wasn't coming. And I'm not coming. Very much like whether or not I was a previous entrepreneur or I was a new entrepreneur.
Right. And so you had this whole falling out from, starting this business and then moving to the point of, experiencing a setback, which a lot of us do. A lot of us experience that. And for many people who are listening, they may be thinking, well, no matter where you are in life, you could be someone who is thriving in a corporate role or someone who's thriving as a consultant, or even though you've set up your own business, you do eventually, many people get to a point where they say, I want more. I want to do something else. And you got to that point and then eventually at some point decided to come to Dubai. Tell us about that experience when you came to Dubai and then something also shifted after you came here.
Absolutely. I had already made the decision that I needed to do something big in my life. It was now or never. And I came to Dubai for the company that I had been working for, and I had to do some training. And in my mind, I was wanting some of my knowledge to go to the team so that I would be in a position that I could feel comfortable to leave. That's where I was at that time. I also, ironically, completely out of the blue, I think it's God-given, I had a job interview while I was here, and I got that job. So I wound down with the previous company, and I started working. And it was actually my dream job. I couldn't have even come up with something more suited to me than what this job was. I was very excited to do it and start it. And I'm now working for other entrepreneurs, basically. It's not a big company, and they had a dream and a vision for what they were trying to achieve, and they had some bumps in the road, just like all entrepreneurs do. It's not always a direct shot, right? Sometimes there are roadblocks. Anyway, I had not had any previous thought of actually moving to Dubai, not even one. And all of a sudden I was here and I was excited to do that. While I was here, the energy of Dubai just woke me up. I was excited again. I had vision for my future, which I was lacking when I was sitting at home. So just the nature of being out of one's environment and into something different had me excited and dreaming again. I didn't have an idea in terms of my entrepreneurship journey. I just knew that this is the place I needed to be. That was 9 months ago, and I have enjoyed it. I survived the heat. It was all good. But there is something about being an entrepreneur and the freedom that it can provide, the flexibility, and having worked from home for 4 years, I'm very comfortable. I'm probably a little too comfortable with that business model of having the flexibility. That is my driving motivation, is to have freedom and flexibility and greater growth than what I can have as an employee for somebody else. And that also means my financial ability to create more wealth. And that's my motivation. So I'm not sure if did I answer the question?
You did. You definitely did. And you talked about like a journey, like this journey for one internally, where you realized you got to a point and you said, I'm looking for flexibility, freedom, the desire to create something for myself. And then you also mentioned this energy in Dubai, which is probably coming from the people here. I think a lot of people come to Dubai with a vision or a dream, or maybe like you, when they come and they see everything that's happening, they say, oh, I can do something. I can be part of something like this because this person is doing it. This person is doing it. And there's so much building and creating going on here. Something that I, for a while, never really focused on was the energy from other people and the ability to collaborate and partner with other people. And I think that's also something that's here that you and I mean, even right now, speaking on this podcast and you being part of the coaching program, that's something that we'll engage in. But there are so many people here who you can lean on as a resource as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So I think too, it's fundamentally that we're all in the same situation. The majority of us are here from another country. Yeah. And that means that we have a shared experience and we're also like-minded. We are risk takers. That is something that we all share, and it's a way to build a relationship. People are more open-minded about having conversations with people and networking and giving. I want to say, because it's about sharing without it just being about paid service or them trying to sell you their business. People have conversations here to share ideas and opportunities, and this is the nature of the fact that we are all the same kind of people. The entrepreneurship is definitely something that thrives here, but people who move here and take the risk to move here also have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes and experiences. Whether a business is going to be successful or not does not matter, whether or not your level of education, your level of experience. There are opportunities to be made here, and all it takes is the initiative and the drive and help from other people. Because if you're starting from square one, you don't even know what questions to ask. So being in an environment where you've got other people who will share, it's definitely helpful.
I love that you said entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes, because if if you're reading the news and you're reading about, well, this company got 10 million seed and this company's on its Series C and all this stuff, as someone who's just starting out, you can potentially get discouraged from that. You could say, well, where's my seed funding? Where's, I want, $10 million for my company. And I think it's so important to highlight is that entrepreneurship is, like you said, it's about taking the risk, and what is suitable for one person and what success looks like for one person might not be like what success looks like for me. Like for me, I don't want the stress of 18-hour days for a tech startup. At this point in my life, I don't want it. Like you said, like you want the flexibility, the time, you want to have the nice walks on the beach. That's also what I'm looking for. Now, maybe X number of years ago, I would have been searching for that. But at this point, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And so for people who are, listening or watching who have this idea in their mind of what an entrepreneur is, it's not about what you see on the outside. It's about what you're experiencing through this journey of, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to raise my hand. I know that I can create value and I'm going to do that. And I think it's just so great that you highlighted that.
Yeah, and today more than ever, there's such a variety of businesses that you can start. It's not everything has to be big or big right away. The online digital market, there's so many opportunities, and that's very little startup cost. Uh, Going to something that's retail based is obviously a lot more risky in terms of if you're going to start off with having a storefront right away, or you're going to enter in the food service industry. There are a lot of things to consider, and you don't bite off more than you can chew. If you've never been involved, I'm not going to say that you don't have to have owned a restaurant or owned to start, because obviously that's not true, but it sure helps if you've got experience in the industry or building the business that you're starting as an employee or in a partnership or something. I'm just fulfilled by seeing the level of entrepreneurship here. I love to go to Ripe Market and,
Yes.
seeing all these vendors and fashion designers that have got their own clothes that they're making and brands, and you can go and talk to those people that are right there, and it's lovely to see people starting businesses like that and having a place in Dubai it doesn't have to be in Dubai Mall, right?
Exactly. Even though, Dubai Mall, but after you've been here for a while, it kind of it wears on you, the experience at Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to touch upon, Sheila, is the idea of a coaching program. So we talked a little bit about the support network that you can get from other businesses, but let's talk a little bit about why you joined the Expat Entrepreneur Accelerator Program and what you hope to get out of it.
Absolutely. So I have been a business owner multiple times year over. Like I said, retail, coaching, consulting. So I'm not new at it, but I am new to Dubai. And I also want to take a different approach than I ever have had in the past, because I don't want to do it all by myself. I do believe that having feedback and in this journey, especially in a new place with the landscape of how Dubai business works here, having someone who has already been through that, having someone who's got, like yourself, that has some legal knowledge as well, and also just having, I want to say, the companionship through the journey. I've watched you and admired what you've had to say over the last 9 months. I saw you on a live for I don't know, 60 seconds, to hear that you were having a 12-week business coaching program. And I didn't have time to finish. I just said, okay, I'm in. And I clicked on the link and I'm like, I'm done. I didn't even have a business idea in mind. I've been rolling around in my brain, thinking about what that might be. And I don't even have absolute clarity today. But I know through the journey with you, I will establish that clarity, and that 90 days from now, I will be in a far better place than I am today in creating what that is. I am ready to get started with a business that's not just about the idea of it, but establishing exactly what those activities are and those services I'm going to offer. I am looking forward to having the feedback, not only from yourself, but from the others, in the fact that it is a collaborative coaching. I think that you grow a lot from hearing from other people's stories, as well as their ability to provide you with ideas and feedback as to your own. So that's why without a doubt, I knew from the content that you had created that you were a person of integrity. I knew that you had value to add for me. There's no question about that. And I do not know it all, nor do I want to know it all, but I want to expedite this process of building a solid foundation for my business. And I am going to get help all along the way. And so you're the first part of that journey.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for those kind words. I also believe that growth doesn't happen in a box, right? Like we can't isolate ourselves for growth. And even, for me, leading in heading up this program. There is a lot to learn on other levels in interacting with people coming from other places, your perspective in terms of what you need, what you're looking for, how you hope to get it, how other people in the program can provide that, how we can pull from the partnerships from ByteBow, my other company, and some partnerships that we have going in the AI and the blockchain space, to the extent that you're looking to build something that has a tech integration. There's so much that can be built, and it's just a matter of raising one's hand and stepping forward and saying, I want to be part of that. So I want to commend you for that. It does take a lot of guts to come to a new country and to say, this is what I'm going to do. So you definitely should give yourself a pat on the back for that, Sheila.
Thank you. I'm excited for the journey.
Yeah. And my last question, we talked about, 3, 5, 10-year plans. What is, and I know you said, you're kind of noodling around with the business idea, but where do you see yourself 5, 10 years from now in terms of lifestyle?
Absolutely. So I'm looking to create something that, because first of all, I am 51. So age is a factor. You can try all kinds of things when you're in your 20s and 30s and you got time. It's a little bit different when you're starting at this age. My intentions are to build something that has longevity that I can do. I don't have a sense of retirement. I want to enjoy my life all along the way. I don't want to work hard and then hope I've collected enough so that I don't ever have to work again. I think that, the world is changing so dramatically in terms of our ability to use technology and AI to assist in business, as well as our own, say, health and our lifestyles. And we can't even project what it will be like in 10 years. So when you're talking about a 10-year plan, I want to say that was like something that we enjoyed 20 years ago, but you're not going to do that anymore. You always have to fine tune what your strategy is in life. And new things come in, and things that you probably would never even have imagined can manifest here. I think that for me, I'm actually, for the first time in my life, I'll say I don't have a 3, 5, 10-year plan, nor that I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do is I have a quarterly plan and a yearly plan for this year. This is where I'm at. Yeah. And I have dreams of the future, but for now, it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other, taking action, getting started, not spending too much time on my head, more time in what I need to do to get ahead. But I want to create something that's lasting. So that's my objective, is something that I can have for the rest of my life. That's the incentive.
Yeah. And it certainly sounds like you're focused on creating something that is for you. And I think that's so important, is that you've done the work, what you want to experience, and you're not looking at anyone else's definition of success. You're looking at, what do I want? How do I want to spend my time? And that's wonderful. Sheila, last question before I let you go. And, I think we talked about this a little bit in our other interactions, is that many people tune into the live sessions or watch the content, but they feel as though they don't have either the education or the work experience or the knowledge or the resources to be able to be an entrepreneur. What would you say to those people?
So I believe that everybody has great ideas within them. And sometimes it's just a matter of having conversations with other people to pull that out. Put it all on the table. Some of the things that you wouldn't even think is a business idea, other people would say, why wouldn't you do that? That's a great idea. So having conversations and expressing yourself and having probing questions to try and decide what skills do you have? What are you interested in? What would make you happy? And whether there's a skills gap, today, skills can be filled. Like, your ability to self-educate is like never before. If you really need to have a certain skill in order to do what you want to do, you can acquire that even from just YouTube videos alone. You probably will be able to learn enough to get started. And, for me, when you say learn enough to get started, is at some point you will be able to pay somebody else to take over. You might not be perfect at it, and you don't have to be. You just need to have enough to journey to get started. In terms of having finances, I think we touched on that before, is that there are many opportunities on how to start small, not to think too big, like whether that is like being able to do a business at right market, whether it is to have an online digital service based company. Just need to explore all of the things that you might be able to do. And sometimes when we have, I say, conversations with our friends, that's not the place to be getting the feedback, depending upon what your friends group are all about. It's one thing if you have a group of friends that are all entrepreneurs. It's another if they're all employees. So speaking with other people that are outside of your culture, outside of your skill set, to probe and uncover during the process. I think that there's a lot of opportunities to be had. And the thing is that it's not financially prohibitive here to start a business. There are so many options with all of the free zones, and just take one step.
That's right. One step at a time. Sheila Randall, thank you so much for being on the show today. And thank you so much for your flexibility and the glitch we had at the beginning. But it's my pleasure to talk to you. And I hope that people who are listening and watching are inspired by your story as well.
Thank you, Jamilia.